Hey guys, this break has lasted longer than I thought it would, so I thought I would set up a YouTube channel where I could read to you Minion and touch base about where we left off. So my Duke's gonna come say hi. So Minion, remember we left off where, say hi Duke, where his dad, Michael's dad, Professor Edson, was getting ready for him to show him the basement and show him everything that was down there. So that's where we left off. So I'm on page 102. Not sure if some of you have gotten the book or not, but you could easily get it and follow along or read it yourself. But I'm gonna take some time to read to you each day and post it on my YouTube channel, and then you could watch it there. So we left off where he was making his descent going downstairs, and his dad was telling him what it was like. For 3 days, nothing happens. Not nothing, just nothing remarkable, nothing. The sky is blue, not streaked blue, just plain blue, with the occasional wisp of cloud for garnish. The kids are out in force, even along our street, playing stickball and tumbling off skateboards, sitting on front steps and smoking. Occasionally, looking up at the sky. So they're talking about the comet right now. Don't misunderstand. There are still crimes. This is New Liberty, where the police blotter gets its own section in the daily paper. Purses are snatched. 6 cars are stolen. 4 houses are broken into. A convenience store is held up, but the suspects hide their face with ball caps and sunglasses. The police arrive well after the perpetrators leave. No sign of the comet, though, or the men in masks. The news choppers flitter all around the city like hummingbirds, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. I can hear them pass over our neighborhood, and I watch my dad's nose twitch. Apparently, a group of high school kids calling themselves the Comet Chasers tools around in a truck spray painted with blue fireballs, hoping to catch him on camera to post to their website. One man actually sticks his own cat in a tree and sits on a folding lawn chair in his front yard with his camera, waiting to see if the hero will come and rescue it. After 4 hours, he gives up and calls the fire department. They don't come either, but a news reporter does. They are working every possible angle. There is speculation that he is gone already, the city's new blue defender, that he was just passing through, like one of those rough-shaven gunslingers who show up in town just long enough to take out the trash before flying off into the sunset, that he was already taken care of, the men of steel, as the bank-robbing, police headquarters, smashing posse is now being called, and has moved on. I spend too much time upstairs watching television, less time down in the wire. I get behind on my homework. Occasionally Dad resurfaces, coffee cup in hand, the one that says, "Quiet, genius at work." "You really ought not to be watching that," Dad says when he sees me, but I watch him watching, stuck there momentarily, sucked in, the same as me. Then he shakes his head and fills his mug with lukewarm coffee and tells me I'm welcome to come join him. I want to say the same, but I don't. And yet for 3 days I'm told to stay close to home where he can see me, though he immerses himself in his work until it's time for dinner, and then pretends like it's just another night. Sandwich night, spaghetti night, fish stick night. I sit at the table and listen to lectures on electromagnetism, pre-Ralphio poetry, and Kant's categorical imperative. The fish sticks are freezer burnt. The helicopters pass overhead, and Dad pauses again, a spoonful of peas at his lips. We both wait for the tick-tick-tick for the rotors to fade. It's these times when nothing is happening that you become almost certainly that something is happening. I call and talk to Zach, but the conversation is short. Tony is still cleaning up some messes. The Forum Credit Union was under his protection and tightening security. He says the same thing. Everything is all right. Don't watch the news. They've got it all wrong. But then I look out the window and see a black SUV roll past one afternoon, and I know it's Tony Romano checking up on us, making the rounds. This morning a package arrives on our doorstep, hand-delivered. The post office doesn't even know we exist. My father snatches it up and takes it into the larder without a word. The door is unlocked, of course. I could follow him down, but instead I finish Crime and Punishment. The ending stunk. This guy, Raskolnikov, goes all the shining on some old lady, chopping her up like kindling, and all he gets is 6 years in prison. Sure, the prison's in Siberia and he will die of frostbite, but that still seems like a small price to pay for a cold-blooded murder. Not that I care. Far be it from me to judge. What gets me is that he still gets the girl in the end. Even the murderer gets the girl. I close the book. I trace back the days. Today is Saturday. A good day to go hang out at the mall. Dad might let me if I promise to go with someone. A little added protection, so I call Zach. He picks up on first ring. I can hear a lot of noise in the background. At first, I figure it's the TV turned up too loud, but then I can tell it's shouting. A party at the Romano residence? Who is that yelling? I can't make out most of their words, but I do know they are loud. That would be Tony, Zach says. He's in a mood. He's got me stuck here as added security. I'm not allowed to leave the compound. You said there was nothing to worry about, I reminded him. There is nothing to worry about, he tells me again. Then why is he yelling? Probably because everybody's still worried, Zach explains. I sense he's not telling me everything, but I don't push it. Instead, I tell him that I'm headed to the mall anyways, and promise to pick up an extra bag of caramel corn for him. You shouldn't go by yourselves, he says. Thanks, Mom. I think I'll be all right. Zach snorts. Whatever. I'm just looking out for you. Besides, she's not going to be there. That's not why I'm going, I say back, then add. And you don't know that for sure. The shouting increases in volume, and Zach says he needs to go. I hang up and then go brush my teeth and tame my hair and snag 2 20s from the hollowed-out copy of David Copperfield on the top shelf. It's not stealing. Dad says the money is for both of us, for whenever we need it. I notice there's only a couple $100 left in there. Maybe Dad has more stash away somewhere, or maybe it's time for another ATM run. Or maybe the thing he's working on right now is almost finished, and Tony's men will be by with another fat envelope soon. I hope so. I could really use a new pair of shoes. I grab my sunglasses and head to the door, pausing by the basement. I should tell him. I should really ask him. But I'm afraid he's going to say no. If Zach was coming with, maybe. But I don't want to lie about that either, and I've got to get out of the house for a while. I open the door a crack and stand there, listening to the sound of power tools and velveta. One foot hovers hesitantly over the top step and then retreats. Maybe I'll just write him a note. I leave it magneted to the fridge. If he comes up, he will see it. If he doesn't, he won't even know. Be back in a little while, I call out in just above a whisper, soft enough that I'm certain he cannot hear me. Then I close the basement door and I slip out the back one. Zach was right. She isn't here, though I walk up and down each wing of Liberty Square 7 times. It's summer Saturday lunch hour, smorgasbord of tank tops and shorts and too much cherry lip gloss, but nothing catches my eye. I'm a man on a mission. I'm sure I look suspicious, scouting every store. I almost have her paged over the intercom with a cute brown-haired girl whose family is actually all named after musical instruments. Please come to the courtesy desk. Thinking that if she were here, then maybe she would find it funny, though more likely she would probably be embarrassed and never speak to me again. So instead, I wander, a roulette wheel spinning endlessly in my head, landing on nothing in particular. Why did I possibly think she would be here? Why won't my father talk to me about what's happening? And what has gotten Tony Romano's boxers in a bunch? Where did all these crazy people even come from? What am I doing here? I look down at my shoes, toes peeling, splitting along the seams, thinking about what Zach said about being too afraid to ever use my powers. I kind of hate it when he's right. I head to the starting block and I breathe in the smell of new leather shoes, flipping. Price tags on the cross trainers, all of which cost $50 or more. Dad says it costs about $5 to make a pair of tennis shoes. He says the world is full of robbers and thieves, but that most of them wear loafers and neckties. I look over at the counter to see that the store's sole employee, a 40-something man with almost no hair. He has a small gold ring on his finger and a much larger, doughy one around his middle. He looks impressionable. I find my size and settle down on the bench to try them on. Beside me, 2 kids about my age start whispering to each other. They are staring at a display of new high tops. Those fancy ones probably cost $15 to produce, which I guess is why they cost $120. One boy takes a box and just holds it reverently as it's some golden idol, and he, the brazen archaeologist who unearthed it. I slip one foot inside my new shoe and wiggle my toes to make sure there's room. "Just take them," one of the boys hisses. Is he watching? The short kid with the one not holding the box glances over his shoulder, and I do the same. Sales guy is ringing up a mother with 3 toddlers. "Nah, man, just take it." I shake my head. I shouldn't get involved. Then I hear my father's voice, and I think about the last time I sat and watched and did nothing. With a sigh, I lean over and hiss at the kids to get their attention. I wouldn't if I were you. They both turn and glare at me, realizing they've been overheard, their intentions revealed, and uncertain what to do next. If I was an adult, no doubt they would drop the box and take off running. But I'm one of them. Just another punk kid. "Come on, man," Shorty pleads, but the kid holding the shoes doesn't move, just stares at me. "Mind your own business," he says at last. It's good advice, I know it is, but I can't help it. I shrug. "Fine," I say. "Do whatever, but you will get caught. Probably before you even leave the mall. The store has cameras." I nod toward the dark half globes hanging from the ceiling, thinking how maybe I should start bringing the scrambler with me everywhere I go. And the shoes, they have security tags. You're going to trigger alarms. The mall cops will be waiting for you by the front door. Odds are you're going to be taken downtown. Your parents will have to come pick you up. You're going to go to court. You're going to pay a fine. You're going to do some community service. That is, unless you've done something like this before. Shorty purses his lips and blows me off with a wave, but I look at the kid holding the shoes, and I can tell by the look in his eyes that this is not the first time. He's been caught before. In that case, I say, they might ship you off somewhere they can watch you better, maybe military school or juvie, and all for a pair of shoes. Shorty tugs on his arm, but the other kid doesn't move. He just stares at me with his big brown eyes getting bigger by the second. I shake my head and snap my fingers, breaking the trance. "Give them to me," I say. "What?" "Just give them here and wait for me outside." The kid looks like he can't decide between taking a swing at me and making a mad dash for the exit. Finally, he hands over the box. What's Michael gonna do? "You sure this is your size?" He nods. I nod back. Then I take both of our boxes up to the counter. The clerk looks at me a little strangely and asks if I found everything all right. I nod, and he scans both pairs, removing the security tags and stacking them one on top of each other. "Your total is $173.83. He says mechanically. I can sense the 2 kids on the other side of the glass. I take the money out of my pocket and set it on the counter. The man smiles. His name tag says he's Chad. He looks like a Chad. $173, he repeats, and 83 cents, I finish for him. "I know, except for you forgot about the buy one, get one free special." I look into his eyes. They are mud-colored, though I found it makes absolutely no difference what color the eyes are. Blue, brown, green, hazel, they all impress the same. He hasn't shaved in a couple of days, and there are acne scars on his forehead. Probably had a rough go of it in high school. "Buy one, get one free?" he says, confused, his pupils widening. "The promotion just started today," I reminded him. "Oh," the clerk says. His lips are twitching. One finger starts to tap on the counter. Involuntary resistance. I get this all the time. The body reacts when the mind can't. "And he forgot my frequent shopper discount, too. I'm in here all the time. It's 50% off?" I say firmly. 50%? "I'm a preferred customer," I whisper as if it's our little secret. I've actually never stepped foot in the store until today. There is a pause, and I feel the sweat beading on my back. This shouldn't be that hard. I've done worse. "You are," he agrees finally. His fingers stops tapping. I can tell he's locked in. I try to ignore everything else around me, and I just stay focused on those muddy brown eyes. The man smiles and winks, rings up my purchases. I notice he rings up the cheaper ones as free, and I correct him. No, Chad, the high tops are free. Chad apologizes and recalculates. The register claims I owe $27. I could probably get out of that too, but I'm already starting to doubt myself, so I fork over what to do. You're a good man, I say, taking the bag from him as he closes the register and hands me my change. He rubs his temples with his fingers and stares at the display for a moment. He knows something does not add up, but he gives me my receipt anyway. I meet the two boys just outside the store. I take the bigger box from the bag and hold it out to the taller one, but he just stands there. Just take him, man, Shorty says again, and I wonder if that will become his mantra. If he will grow up to be one of those thugs, spray painting his symbols on the brick walls outside the techno tree, stealing loose change out of unlocked cars. No ambition at all. Nothing to believe in except the shoes on his feet. I push the box into the other kid's stomach, and he instinctively grabs hold. I don't let go yet, though. A box can be almost anything, I tell him, but I don't bother to look him in the eyes. I don't have to. I've already got his attention already. But once you open it, things will never quite be the same. The kid nods, as if he has the slightest clue what I'm talking about. Even I don't know what I'm talking about. I just know a kid on the edge when I see one. I start to leave, but the kid with the new pair of $100 hay tops reaches out and grabs my shirt. Dude, are you some kind of a magician or something? He asks. I realize I've gone too far this time. I look him in the eyes this time and I tell him he has no idea who I am, that he's never seen me before in his life. I'm going to stop there for right now, and I will upload another one later. Have a good day, guys.